All right, so I wanted to do this challenge, this video podcast challenge for a few months now, and it's been in my head, and I've been processing it because I've experienced over the past 3 years a lot of growth in terms of my communication and a number of other things by getting more comfortable at speaking on video, and specifically with YouTube in mind. And so the last, especially the past 6 months to a year, I've noticed a growing trend in more video podcasting being done, as it's one of the most effective and most leveraged forms of content you can create, because you can create it once and then repurpose it in so many different ways. And if you are an expert or a thought leader on a specific subject, then video podcasting is a great way to put your face online and connect with those of your ideal target market. Their audience is out there, and you're creating content that's resonating with them. You're building that relationship by putting a real face to it. And of course, there's place for faceless channels and outlets for media and consuming content. Specifically for the video podcast challenge, we're doing this to put our faces on camera, whether it's an iPhone or $10,000 Sony or whatever. It doesn't really matter, as long as you are progressing forward and putting content out there, and doing so in a structured format to where we can define what success looks like. And the way that I'm going to be defining success for myself in this challenge, you can create your own metric of success for yourself in this challenge, is by launching a season of mini episodes that are going to be congruent and aligned with my book launch, because I want all of my content to resonate with that, and I want somebody to be aligned with it. And I was watching the new season of True Detective Night Country, and I was thinking, oh, it's interesting, at the end of every episode of this show that they obviously put a lot of money into and a lot of time into, they have a podcast where I haven't listened to it yet, but it's a podcast that's complementary to the show that goes deeper and I'm sure explores a lot of different things related to what's going on in the show. And so why not do that if you've got a book that's going out, a course, anything that you are leading a conversation on in your industry. And a video podcast is a great way to do that, just for yourself, but also it's a great way to open up and build new relationships and connections with other influential people that would be beneficial for you to potentially do business with, collaborate with, or grow a relationship with, to bring more value to adding them into your network. And so how we're going to be doing it is the video podcast challenge. It's going to be very simple. It's going to be similar to our structure of the initial 7-day book challenge, but this is going to be more of a framework that you can apply to initially a 5-day period, or a 5-month period. But I would say like a 5 to 30-day range here, depending on what you're comfortable with and how much time and resources you've already invested in maybe a team of editors, or if you are looking to hire a team and outsource certain parts of this for production quality and just leveraging other people's strengths and skill sets. But it's going to start with your why. So let's just take this as a 5-day challenge. Day 1 is going to be finding your why and understanding really crystal clear what that is. Once you're clear with that, the next step is going to be casting the vision behind that why. So you've got the why and the reason you're doing this. So now what is like really that vision that you're going to be able to rally yourself around, and those that you're going to be working with. And once you can define that vision, what within that vision, like what are the separate goals that you're going to be reaching to hit, and what is success going to ultimately look like? Is it building one new relationship a week with a podcaster, or an influential leader in your industry? What does success look like, and what are your goals that you need to set up to measure that success? And in my case, I'm going to be doing it solo, and I'm going to be doing a 10 mini episode series based on the different sections of the book. So it's not going to require me to go and book a bunch of appointments, but there are a lot of ways to really quickly just open those conversations and start getting that ball rolling. And so I would encourage you, if you're considering to, especially leveraging other people's audiences and networks, to consider starting to open up that relationship and think about that as a way to open up more doors and more opportunities. And once you set your goals, now we want to take those goals and then turn them into actions. And what are the steps that we're going to need there? And this is where basically it's a matter of like what tool and when you want to use it. So, I mean, like I said, you can use an iPhone, you can use a free like a Spotify account. They bought a company called Anchor. launch a podcast on Spotify if it's voice only, but I'm going to be using YouTube and creating a playlist on our channel, specifically a podcast playlist on our Gen AI University channel that is going to be breaking this down. So it's going to be a very clear start and finish. And I'm going to be using YouTube for the content and posting it there. And then I'm going to be breaking it down with the content. Once it's up there, I'm going to be breaking it down with a tool called Opus Pro. It's I think it's one of the best ones out there right now for repurposing content, helping you with clipping and that editing. And I know a lot of professional editors use it to help with streamlining their process. But I'm also going to be using a platform called Riverside that I've been exploring, and it's way better Zoom quality recording, and recording the actual content's way better than just using Zoom. Of course, it has a monthly membership associated with it, and we'll be sharing all those details and kind of what the options are. But again, there's a handful of tools, and then it's a matter of just getting it done. So another one in there I'm going to be using is Descript, and we're not going to get stuck in that right here, but I'm just saying, like, we're going to just be sharing the tools that I've been using myself. You're welcome to check and test out any of the other tools. Use what you want, invest in microphones, cameras if you want, or there's a lot of really cost-effective ways to do this. A lot of options. And so once we have the action steps lined out and how you're going to accomplish this, now we're ready to start making an impact. And then doing so is, again, measuring that success and what is our impact going to be looking like and how are we going to get that done. And so with all of this in mind, now we're able to take much more aligned action and measure success. And in my case, and I'm going to be doing this with everybody, is going to be doing a 10 episode piece. For now, I'm just going to call it the Buyer's Brief Podcast. And it's going to be episode 1 is an introduction to the Buyer's Brief. Episode 2 is going to be going over the market sauce method. Episode 3, the Buyer's Blueprint, and then from there, it's the strategic brief, the brand style guide, micro content, questions, implementation guide, which is going to be now, the next thing I'm going to add in is the $100 million workflow. And then we're going to wrap it up with like additional resources to recommend and final thoughts. And then it's going to be season 1, the Buyer's Brief. And when we're ready to launch a season 2, we'll do that. But why I'm not considering a season 2 until the first season is going to have success. And if it flops, then I'm not going to waste my time trying to do something the same. I'm going to look a different route. But all in all, I'm pretty confident I can film that content in 1 or 2 sittings once I have just some research and stuff pulled up. Knock it out in maybe 2 to 4 hours, let's say. So I can get that done in a half day. And then that's the content. Then I'm going to upload that to different tools to process it. And I can have all of this edited, and I'm going to show everybody how they can edit stuff very quickly here. And you can bring your teammates into this challenge so they can learn how to do it too. Let the AI tools do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Get something up and running, and then just get it out there. Start producing it, start cutting it up, and then start taking those little clips in your micro content. Now you're just blasting your micro media content all over the internet. But I would suggest not just everywhere. I would suggest picking a few platforms where your audience is actually hanging out. So if it's YouTube and LinkedIn as a combo, do that. Maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's TikTok. That's for you to research and decide, because you know your audience better than I do. And we're going to be talking to them inside this challenge. We're going to be building buyer's briefs that are going to outline our audience. We're going to be able to speak to them as if we're reading their minds. And then we're creating content that speaks to their pains, their fears, their desires, and the things that are holding them back, keeping them up at night, that you can address with your content. You can build trust, you can build those relationships, you can leverage your time most effectively so that you can spend more time doing the things that you love and making an impact in the world. Join us in the challenge, video, podcast challenge, AI human, podcast machine. Let's rock and roll.